All right, everybody. We're going to go through the study guide, and this should help you out. Let's see here. Now, so I'm going to have to make several little videos here, but this should help you out really more than anything. And so we're going to kind of cover all the bases here. And kind of review some of the things that you may have read, of course, and also that you've seen on the other videos. One of the first questions on the test is 50 multiple choice questions. And make sure that once you start the test, that you do not stop. So don't start it and then, click out of it and try to go back because it's not going to work. So this is something new. So hopefully everything will work out well, and the main thing is for you to be prepared, and this study guide, what I'm going over, should help you out a whole lot. One of the first questions is about the progressive movement and really kind of what characterized progressivism. And remember, the progressive movement was really in the 1890s to, one can go all the way to 1920. I usually stop around 1914 when World War I started. But what they wanted to do, what progressives wanted to do, was to change society through politics. There's no political party today that would really align exactly with the progressives at the end of the 19th century and the early part of the 20th century. The Democrats today would, often call themselves progressives, but it's not quite in the same way. If you were to combine some of the liberal politics of the Democrats with some of the moral clarity of the Republicans, that would be, I guess, a pretty good combination that would describe the progressives if you were to put it in today's times. Also, the progressives, like conservatives today, believed in efficiency and moral purity. Remember, it was the progressives that really pushed for the prohibition of alcohol. But they were more like the liberals or Democrats today in that they wanted to curb the influence of special interest. Of course, both political parties today are influenced by special interests, so I don't know if that works exactly right. But anyway, hopefully, if you keep up with politics today, that might be able to help you and clarify a few things. So again, progressives mixed a liberal concern for the poor with a conservative wish to control order. And I also talked in the other lectures about the muckrakers. The muckrakers were journalists, some of whom published their articles in McClure's magazine, and of course they raked up the muck. They tried to show the ills of the society. Make sure in your book that you read about the settlement house. This led to the field of social work. You'll find that in the chapter on progressives, I believe. Now, also make sure that you know the amendments that were passed during the progressive movement. And I'm not going to go over all of these because I kind of want you to look for them. The 16th Amendment, the 17th Amendment, the 18th Amendment, and the 19th Amendment. And make sure you read about those. It's very important. The 19th Amendment embraced by progressives because progressives thought that women would clean up politics. So of course that kind of gives you a good hint on what the 19th Amendment really was, which is, I might as well tell you now, it was women's suffrage. All right, or in other words, giving the right to vote to women. One of the things that progressives did not do, the progressives did not break down racial barriers. And we talked in some of the other lectures about how African Americans were politically disenfranchised. So for a very long time, African Americans in the South, there were not a whole lot of African Americans in the North. 90%, say in 1905, 90% of African Americans lived in the South. Now that would change and listen to this because I think there is a question on the test about this, that would change with World War I because many African Americans migrated up north for jobs. But that's one thing that the progressives did not do was break down racial barriers. I mean, progressives honestly were not really known for that. Now, obviously, there were exceptions coming from the African American community. In another lecture, I discussed W.E.B. Du Bois, which I don't think I have a question about him on the test, but I will put him on the final because he is a very important figure. One of the questions is about the square deal. The square deal was a term used by Theodore Roosevelt, and he became president in 1901 when Woodrow Wilson was assassinated. I mean, I'm sorry, not Woodrow Wilson. William McKinley was assassinated, and then he was reelected. And Theodore Roosevelt was a very interesting character. He was a Republican. He was someone who believed in what we call equality of opportunity. Now, this is very important. This is not equality of outcome. Right? That's what someone that is a socialist would want. But equality of opportunity, giving everyone the same opportunities. And this is a good way, I think, to describe what the square deal really was. Now, make sure that you look over. I mean, I discussed the farmers' problems at the end of the 19th century. Be sure to understand that farmers in the South and the West were for what we call inflationary policies. Inflationary policies. This were policies, economic policies, that would put more currency in the system, which would cause inflation. But if you were in debt, say $55,000, and you have a fixed interest rate, if there's more money in the system, this would help you. And many farmers were for these inflationary policies because they were in debt, and a lot of poor, and of course most of them were in the South and the West, and so much of this desire to create inflationary policies, free silver, for example. They wanted the government to use both gold and silver as to back up the currency, not just gold. This was called bimetallism, or for the free minting of, or for the minting of all silver. And this was a major question. It was a major issue in the presidential election of 1896 between William McKinley and William Jennings Bryan. So make sure you look over that in the textbook. I mean, I kind of explained it there, but you need to make sure that you understand that.